Hello, all dear subscribers and guests of the channel. I try very hard for you to learn more interesting things from our world. About this will not tell in the school and the government. Please appreciate my work. Please do not forget to subscribe, and like that, more people would see the truth. I will be glad to try for you. Enjoy the view. Respectfully find out. Whether this is true or not, whether this is the reason, it is difficult to say. In fact, the earth was once inhabited by giants. Everyone has heard of giants, everyone has heard of dinosaurs and gigantopithecines, but not so much about meganthropes. Obviously, this was the biosphere. Favorable natural conditions, high oxygen content in the atmosphere, providing a healthy metabolism, low carbon dioxide content. The planet up to a certain point before the first catastrophe was covered with lush, tiered, and giant vegetation. Well, and the pressure must be higher. So it was. Measuring the pressure in the air bubbles in amber showed 8 atmospheres, and the oxygen content was 38. Therefore, the birds were gigantic. Their wings had something to rely on. Later, the birds became sparrows, and the bigger ones became ostriches and fat penguins. With such a dense atmosphere, the air element was thoroughly mastered by life, and flight was normal. Everyone flew, those who had wings and those who didn't. Many people have dreams in which they fly. Perhaps it is a subconscious déjà vu, giant skeletons. In 1890 in Egypt, archaeologists found a stone sarcophagus with a clay coffin inside, which contained the mummies of a 2-meter red-headed woman and child. Similar mummies of a man and a woman with red hair were discovered in 1912 in Lovelock, Nevada, in a cave carved out of a rock. The mummified woman was 2 meters tall when alive, and the man was about 3 meters tall when alive, and the man was about 3 meters tall. In 1930, near Bathurst, Australia, miners at Jasper Mines often found fossilized footprints of huge human feet. The race of giant humans whose remains were found in Australia was called Meganthropus by anthropologists. These humans ranged in height from 210 to 365 centimeters. Meganthropus is similar to Gigantopithecus, the remains of which have been found in China. Judging by the fragments of jaws and many teeth found, the Chinese giants were 3 to 3.5 meters tall and 400 kilograms near Bathurst in river sediments. There were stone artifacts of enormous weight and size: clubs, pliers, chisels, knives, and axes. It is unlikely that modern Homo sapiens would have been able to work with tools weighing 4 to 9 kilograms. Anthropological expedition, which specifically explored the area in 1985 for the remains of Meganthropus, excavated to a depth of 3 meters from the surface of the ground. Australian researchers found, among other things, fossilized molar tooth height 67 and width of 40, tooth height 67 and width of 42 millimeters. The owner of the tooth had to be at least 7.5 meters tall and weigh 370 kilograms. Hydrocarbon analysis determined the age of the finds to be 9 million years old. In 1971, in Queensland, farmer Stephen Walker, while plowing his field, came across a large jaw fragment with teeth 5 centimeters high. In 1979, at Megalong Valley in the Blue Mountains, locals found a huge rock sticking out over the surface of a stream that showed the imprint of part of a huge foot with 5 toes. The toes measured 17 centimeters across. If the print had survived in its entirety, it would have been 60 centimeters long. It follows that the fingerprint was left by a man 6 meters tall. Near Malgoa, 3 huge footprints, 60 centimeters long and 17 centimeters wide, were found. The giant stride length was measured at 130 centimeters. The footprints have been preserved in the fossilized lava for millions of years, even before Homo sapiens appeared on the Australian continent, if the theory of evolution is correct. Huge footprints are also found in the limestone bed of the Upper Macleay River. These footprints are 10 centimeters long and 25 centimeters wide. Obviously, the Aborigines of Australia were not the first inhabitants of the continent. Interestingly, in their folklore, there are legends of giant men who once inhabited these territories. Other evidence of giants. In an ancient book entitled History and Antiquity, now preserved in the Library of Oxford University, there's an account of the discovery of a giant skeleton made in the Middle Ages at Cumberland. The giant is buried in the ground to a depth of 4 yards and is in full military attire. His sword and battle axe rest beside him. The skeleton is 4.5 yards, 4 meters long, and the big man's teeth measure 6.5 inches, 17 centimeters. In 1877, near a river in Nevada, prospectors were working gold panning in a deserted, hilly area. One of the workers happened to notice something sticking out over a cliff ledge. The men climbed up the rock and were surprised to find human foot and shin bones along with a kneecap. The bones were embedded in the rock and miners used picks to free them from the rock. They realized that it was an unusual find, and the miners extracted it from the rock into which it had been embedded, because the rock was quartzite and the bones themselves were blackened, giving away their considerable age. The leg had been broken above the knee and was a knee joint, and the bones of the lower leg and foot were intact. Several doctors examined the bones and concluded that the leg undoubtedly belonged to a man. But the most intriguing aspect of the find was the size of the leg. 97 centimeters from knee to foot. The owner of this limb in life had a height of 3 meters 60 centimeters. Even more puzzling was the age of the quartzite in which the fossil was found, 185 million years, the era of the dinosaurs. Local newspapers were vying with one another to report the scoop. A museum sent researchers to the site in hopes of finding the rest of the skeleton, but unfortunately nothing more was found. In 1936, German paleontologist and anthropologist Larsen Kohl found the skeletons of giant men on the shores of Lake Elisee in Central Africa. The 12 men buried in the mass grave were between 350 and 375 centimeters tall when they were alive. Curiously, their skulls had beveled chins and 2 rows of upper and lower teeth each. There is evidence that during World War I in Poland, during the burial of the executed, was found fossil skull height of 55 centimeters. That is almost 3 times larger than that of a modern adult. The giant to whom the skull belonged had very proportional features and was at least 3.5 meters tall. Ivan T. Sanderson, a famous zoologist and frequent guest on the popular American show Tonight Show in the 60s, once shared with the audience a curious story about a letter he received from a certain Alan McShear. The letter writer was working as a bulldozer operator on a road construction project in Alaska in 1950. He reported that workers had discovered 2 huge fossilized skulls, vertebrae and leg bones, in one of the burial mounds. The height of the skulls reached 58 cm in a width of 30 centimeters. The ancient giants had a double row of teeth and disproportionately flat heads. Each skull at the top was a neat, round hole. It should be noted that the custom of deforming the skulls of infants to make the heads as they grew to acquire an elongated shape existed in some Indian tribes in North America. The vertebrae, as well as the skulls, were 3 times the size of those of modern humans. Tibia bones were 150 to 180 centimeters long. Therefore, dear subscribers and friends, there is much we do not know about our past and what civilizations were before us. Many questions and unsolved mysteries of our world remain. Leave your comments and thoughts on this subject. We will learn and search for the truth. Good luck to you all. Hi all dear friends. I'm glad to welcome all of you on my channel. All those who like to find something interesting for themselves. I will post more and more interesting videos for you. But since I'm just starting to develop this channel, I want to know your opinion. What topics are interesting for you? Maybe I will make some video of your interest theme so that people from around the world could learn more about our history and the secrets, because we are hiding much of the truth and not telling people at the top of us from the ordinary people. While we're still very few, please share my work and message to the world with everyone you know. Maybe they will also be surprised by these videos, and it will contribute to the growth and development of the channel. I will try for you with all my might and will not let you down, dear people. Thank you, dear subscribers and guests of the channel. Please do not forget to subscribe and like and share this video. Thank you again.